Alright, it is finally time for me to experience a Vosteed knife. I've been waiting a long time for this. This is the ever so popular Vosteed Raccoon with the top liner lock, black micarta, satin blade, blue thumb stud. Love the aesthetics of this. Still never experienced a Vosteed knife. We're going to get to unboxing it, go over it. Where do I have? Right here, I have the Pyrite, which I love. We'll compare it, see, how it feels. Let's open this bad boy up. Like I said, I've been waiting too long for this. It's been out of stock for a while on Amazon. It finally came back in stock. I'll link it below if anyone's interested. There goes my Alexa making noise. So many people rave about this knife. And aesthetically, looking at it, what people talk about, the size, everything just looks amazing. What do we got in here? What do we got? Dead or alive, wanted, Vosteed Raccoon. That's funny. That's a lot of money. So sticker, support, and a little manual. Let's move this stuff to the side real quick. All right, so we got a little pouch. This is nice, actually. Different than your typical Civivi Kaiser ones. I like this. This is really nice. Oh, there goes my dogs. Someone must be at the door. Ooh, that orange really stands out. Cloth, nice pouch. Hope you guys like dogs, don't mind that. Got a little Yorkie and a little Shih Tzu. Ooh, micarta, I love micarta. Over just regular black G10, I really like micarta. This thing looks phenomenal. That blue is bright too, do you see that? That is a really bright blue. Like I have the Baby Banter, which is black G10 satin-ish or stonewash blade and blue, but it's a darker blue. So first thing first, I think, like I said, the thing looks visually amazing. I knew that just from the photos that this would be a knife that I really like. Out of curiosity, let's see how it compares just size-wise versus a Pyrite, which is a very popular knife. And it is almost identical size-wise. Now, one of the main differences, if you notice, this button is up here, and this button is lower. It's lower down. So this is what people are referring to as a top liner lock versus a button lock, which is more, correct me if I'm wrong, like a plunge lock type of knife. Let me see if I can get my dogs to quiet down a bit, because I really want to get into this. I don't want it to bother you guys. All right, I don't know if the dog barks were coming through, and they're probably going to keep barking. But what I was saying before I just interrupted myself was the button lock. This is known, like I said, I believe as a plunge lock. It works different where this Raccoon, and they might make different versions, but this is known as the top liner lock. Most noticeable difference that I can see visually is the button is actually lower. And for what I've been told is this button acts to push what would be a liner lock. So for example, if this one had a liner lock, you would push it to the side. So imagine the button pushing the liner. Don't know what it looks like yet because I've never experienced this. We're still just going over the aesthetics, which I really like. Reversible pocket clip, little lanyard, loop, simple pocket clip. I wish the pocket clip wasn't shiny. Again, this is just like nitpicking. If it was like a satin, kind of matching that, it would have been nicer. All right, with that being said, let's give this thing an open. I could actually see the liner, I think. Man, I'm curious. All right, let's give this thing an open. We're going to go old-fashioned style, this thumb stud open, and then we'll do a reverse flick. Oh, that's strong. That is strong. Okay. So right off the bat, that is smooth, though. That thing closes nicely. So this thing has a much stronger detent than a typical button lock. Wow. First, let's check it out fully opened. The black micarta, the blue thumb stud, that satin blade. Check out the other side. I know the blade steel is 14C28N. I don't know if they notate it. Is that it right there? Yes, it is. This thing looks great. So right off the bat, let's see any lock stick. See that liner? You can actually see it. No lock stick. The fact that I can do this means there's no lock stick. Let me pull up a knife that has some lock stick. I have it right here, actually. Give me 1 second. Kaiser Cormorant. Kaiser Cormorant. This one, no lock stick. See? Could easily push it, then it closes. Micarta version. I'm giving force and it's not moving. But watch when I give it more, it's all or nothing. See? It's got lock stick. A lot of button locks unfortunately have that. This one, I could start pushing and move it, which means it just feels incredibly smooth in the hand. When you're closing it, there's no lock stick. But I've never had a top liner lock. You can see the liner lock. It's in the back, not in the front like a typical liner lock. So I wonder if this is more like Spyderco's compression lock, now that I'm looking at it in person. Spyderco's compression lock, I think, works like this. But instead of actually pinching it together to release it, it might be a little bit different. But you can see the liner coming out and then this guy pushing the liner in, which then drops the blade. And that thing just swings. Versus, let's get the Pyrite again. There's no liner, no nothing. It has this plunger. From what I recall, you see that moving. So that's holding it. And when it clears, that big part holds it open. And then when you push it, it releases. And supposedly these are much, much stronger because there has been some failures. Nothing too crazy. I haven't experienced any with like that type of lock that the CGRB Pirate has. Most button locks are like that. Even the Cormorant, well, can't really see much, but I believe it's like that too. So like I said, this one apparently just has a stronger locking mechanism for still being a button lock. Now this price point comes in from recollection at around $65. I don't know if they run sales at all or anything, but for that price, I guess, you know, I think budget territory would be like under 50. But then again, knife prices has been going up. I know, I'll talk about Civivi because when Civivi first came out, they had a lot of good budget knives and then their prices went up. And I have a feeling that's why they came out with Sencut knives, because they realized the prices went up and then companies like QSP and CJRB and other knives started coming out with a lower price point. So then they came out with Sencut to kind of compete with those. And then Civivi's kind of mid and then they're larger. So the other thing I was saying, going back to the Vosteed Raccoon, is overall, it just has a much stronger detent, which I actually like. First time, I literally failed at flipping it, but other than that, it is great. I'm really liking this. Let's see just overall how it feels in the hand. So the button, although it is lower and it does protrude a good amount, it's not necessarily, the way you're holding it, you're pretty far back. I like how they put a little bit of jimping on here. Just notice that as I went to grip it. So the button really is not going to be in your way because you're forced to kind of hold it a little more back because of this groove right there. Can you choke up? Yeah, you can. You just got to be careful. There's no like actual finger choil to do anything, but you can choke up. This is comfortable. You just got to be careful. You can kind of sit here. If you got chubbier fingers, you got to be careful. But overall, the knife feels great in the hand. You feel this a little bit, not a ton, but you feel it. I'm really liking this. I'm really digging this and I can see why people love it. And I think one of the main selling points is the top liner lock. Being a button lock in general, you could, of course, swing it open and close it. You could slow roll it. You can reverse flick it, thumb flick it, everything I've been doing, whatever you want to do for opening mechanisms. Yeah, this is an awesome knife. There's really not too much else to say about it. Maybe we'll do a quick paper cut test. Let me get a piece of paper. I actually got one right here in front of me. Give me 1 second. I'm grabbing it. Let's see out the box how it does. Ooh, yeah. That is smooth. Yeah, I'm not surprised, you know what I mean? Knives usually are nice and sharp out the box, as they should be. Let me just clean that up. So before we end this, we're going to do a little quick weight test because this doesn't feel like the lightest thing in the world. Yeah, definitely heavier. So for example, the Pyrite, let's do a full-blown comparison open to open real quick. Because closed, they were very similar. Open, the Raccoon is a little bit bigger. I think it was just a hair bigger closed. But other than that, they are very, very similar knives. I wish I had the Civivi Elementum here, because I would think that's a comparable too, but I don't. So, this guy's light. The Pyrite is a very light knife, and it's extremely thin. That's why I love the Pyrite. And yeah, it's still thinner than the Raccoon. It's hard to get them. I'm going to try and line up the bottom Yeah, it's thinner. I got the scale in the background, so it's probably hard to see. Let's see the weight. I think this guy's like 2.6 or what? 2.68. So we have 2.68, and this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it cracks into the 3s. 2.68. Oh, man. Now I'm having, I don't know, 2.97? 3.03. Huh, close, close. All right. So, basically 3 ounces versus what did I say? 6.8, 8.6, something like that. So for 3 ounces, the blade length, I'm going to take a peek over here on this side. I got some information on it. Apparently the blade length is 3.25. So you got a 3-ounce knife, 3.25-inch blade length, 7.60 overall. Like we said, 14C28N, the drop point, satin finish. They put the hardness at 60 plus 2. I don't know. I'm looking at the website right now. It's a little confusing. I'm liking this guy. I'm excited to start carrying it. This is definitely going to be a carrier for me. I have a lot of knives that I get, and I don't use all of them. For the life of me, I have too many knives. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. You get to a point where you just have too many knives. You cannot carry all of them. Some of them, for me, are like more expensive. I don't use them as much. To me, this is a great knife. Like I said, I think budget territory is like under 50. I think 50 to 75 is like let's call it premium budget, I guess. And then 75 to 100 is like premium budget too. And then over 100 is where, for most folks, again, not everybody, but for most folks, that's where you're kind of spending a decent amount on a pocket knife. Let me know what you guys think when it comes to price. What do you think of this? Is a good value for $65? If you've experienced the Vosteed Raccoon, and what other Vosteed should I check out next? Consider subscribing for more. You can follow on TikTok, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.